I think it's safe to say at this point that Survivor Series is going to be a shit show, but at least we've got WarGames to look forward to? Question mark? What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check for your NXT November 14th Go Home to WarGames review. And, oh, the house cleaning. The house cleaning. There's lots of house cleaning, but it's really not going to be anything that you don't usually get from me anyways. A week from Survivor Series, I encourage you guys, as I've been doing for the past little while, check out Fight TV. Destiny Pro Wrestling is presenting their first ever iPay-per-view, Fearless. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Rich Swann versus Josh Alexander versus Rey Fenix is the main event. I think it's like 20 bucks on Fight TV. Check it out. Now, it's Wednesday, which means usually you get a shit ton of reviews from me. You're not getting your NXT UK reviews tonight because I had a really busy day, had some family stuff to do, etc. But you will get the NXT reviews, Part 1 and Part 2, sometime over the course of the weekend. Tomorrow night, Kristen, Guapo, and I will be doing the pay-per-view pick 'em for not only WarGames, but Survivor Series as well. Please come and join us for that. In addition to that, in the shit show that has been the build for SummerSlam, we got a new WWE Champion on SmackDown, and I have a whole lot to say about that, so there will be a separate commentary sometime over the course of the weekend coming to you guys about that. Don't know whether it's going to be solo or whether it's going to include my awesome co-hosts. We're going to see where that lies as it lies, and also because it is a Big 4 pay-per-view weekend, at some point I'm going to be cranking out the November Q&A for you guys as well. So the next couple of days, you're going to be getting a lot from me. It's a weird time to be a wrestling fan, isn't it? The Becky Lynch stuff, the Daniel Bryan incident, people actually defending Nia Jax, which is a whole other issue altogether. Becky Lynch's face is hamburger. Anyways, let's talk about the go-home show for NXT. Now, you know how the go-home shows are. It's the same as the shows after a takeover. It's a lot of video packages, a lot of recaps, a lot of hype, and not necessarily much in the way of wrestling. But we did get Bianca Belair versus Mia Yim. We got some other stuff. We got Lacey Evans, who I really wish I didn't have to talk about. And we got one final piece of build-up for the WarGames pay-per-view. So let's start off with Bianca Belair versus Mia Yim, a match that gave me a lot of hope and then dashed it real bad. Now, if it hasn't been said enough already, if I haven't driven it into the ground, I have no problem with Bianca Belair. In the ring, she's fantastic. In the ring, she's a fucking marvel. Her gimmick is shit. The whole undefeated thing is annoying. And Mia Yim, for anybody that didn't pay attention to the Mae Young Classic, is an absolute superstar. So if there was going to be anybody that was going to knock Bianca Belair off her perch, I was really, really hoping it would be Mia Yim. Anyways, pie face by Belair in a front slam to start, tripping a matchbook pin attempt and a headlock takeover by Mia Yim, shoulder tackle by Belair and high knees by Yim, drop kick by Yim, 4 of them in a neck vice by Belair, a series of pin attempts by Yim and a choke by Belair, a trip by Yim, a drop kick by Belair, which leads into a cravat, body shots by Yim, back elbow and a snake eyes, clothesline by Yim, drop kick, gut wrench suplex, series of kicks by Yim, a spine buster, the spine buster by Belair. I will say it was fucking respectable. Spinebuster by Belair almost makes me think of, you know, you always hear, you know, Matt Bloom has taken a certain interest in a certain talent. Shawn Michaels has apparently taken a big interest in the presentation of somebody like Velveteen Dream. When you see the Spinebuster by Bianca Belair and some of the other things that she pulls off, I really have to think that Bianca Belair is a Triple H project. I have nothing to base that on. I'm just making a hypothesis, so please don't misquote me. But I wouldn't be surprised. Her Spinebuster is a fucking thing of beauty. Corner spear by Belair, a high knee by Yim, and a Pele kick. The Pele kick was also pretty damn nice. Cannonball by Yim, and a botchy, some sort of slam thing by Belair. Now, I'm not saying, when I usually say botchy, I'm saying it with a laugh or a chuckle or a smirk or whatever. I'm not saying that in this case, because even though she botched whatever the thing she was going for, it still looked effective. And I don't mind that, because not everything is crystal clear, not everything is pristine in wrestling, and when it's a little bit sloppier, it does look a bit better. The way she came down with that side slam looked brutal, and it looked brutal enough to put away Mia Yim, but I don't think it was whatever I say it was. It's not like Nia Jax botching and exploding Becky Lynch's face across her face. It's not like Sasha Banks botching and costing somebody their career. It's just a little botch. It's a botch that made the match look better, and I hope Mia Yim's not hurt. Obviously, we don't want to continue that trend whatsoever. We see the video recap for Gargano Black, and what can I say? It's WWE. They do video packages amazingly, but if you haven't been paying attention to this story, then what's the point of watching the video package now? Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno is announced for next week. In other words, it's going to happen at the episode of NXT that's filmed at the pay-per-view. Now, this is a curious thing for me, because we all know that typically NXT takeovers have a five-match, what's the word I'm looking for? Framework. Before the North American title came along, it was world title, women's title, tag title, and 2 other matches. Eventually it became world title, tag title, women's title, UK title, and 1 other match. Then they went on and they created the North American title, and it was, you know, world title, women's title, tag title, North American title, and 1 other match. Now, it's a little different in this case when you've got a bunch of the titles tied up in the main event. But I really did still think they were going to stick to that 5-match format. And I thought, much as I don't like Ohno, as much as he makes me roll my eyes, as much as he would have been the one in the pay-per-view pick 'em, please, like I say, come along with us tomorrow night and play along. It's going to be fun. As much as I didn't really want to see this match, I really figured this match was going to be the 5th match on the card, which leaves us with a 4-match card. Now, that being said, the main event is the type of match that's going to go long. Sane versus Baszler being a 2 out of 3 falls match is a match that's going to go longer. Gargano Black and Ciampa Dream are matches that could go longer. So you could just have 4 half-hour-long matches, but it really does break the framework of what a typical takeover is. So that's interesting. I'm really interested to see if they throw another match in there. Maybe Candice LeRae versus Nikki Cross. Just saying, didn't see either of them tonight, but it's fine. Carissa Rivera is a jobber that got jobbed out by Lacey Evans because NXT thinks Lacey Evans is good, and that's unfortunate. The match was crap. The women's right finisher is crap. Her pulling this chick's hair all around the ring was crap. Her after-match promo about being a classy lady, blah, 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 was crap. Please get Lacey Evans off my screen. Lacey Evans is as damaging to NXT as a character as Nia Jax is in the ring to her opponent's faces. Oh, yes, we see a video recap on the Ciampa versus Dream match. See what I said earlier? WWE does great video packages, but if you don't know what's going on at this point, I really don't know what to tell you. We see a video recap on Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler, which is awesome. That match is going to be cool. Everybody's crying out that they didn't get enough time at Evolution. I don't particularly agree. I'm going to say this for what it's worth. People that are on that, I'm going to say that WWE sucks, but NXT is cool, because that's the in thing to say right now, and refuse to admit that NXT is a WWE product. People that say the Mae Young Classic is cool, but WWE sucks, even though Mae Young Classic is a WWE product. I don't really know what to tell you. People say at Evolution, Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Toni Storm, and Mia Yim all got shortchanged. You're wrong. A fight. Just watch boxing, just watch MMA. I don't watch those things, but my friends do, and I hear things and I see things and whatever. Try to tell any actual sports fan that a match being short or a fight being short means it's necessarily a bad match. Are you going to go and tell Mia Yim and Toni Storm that they had a bad match? Are you going to tell Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler that they had a bad match? I mean, obviously, I could have done without the ending of the NXT Women's title match with Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke getting involved, because that's a little WWE storytelling that the match didn't need, but this is going to be a good match. Went on a bit of a ramble about the stupid people on Twitter, mostly, there. Bottom line, Sane versus Baszler is going to be a good match. I have a feeling it's going to be the kickoff match of the night, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time you don't really want... This is where, like, the beginning of the match, or sorry, the beginning of the show is where you would stick in that Ohno versus Riddle match. Apparently Keith Lee is doing something with Ohno as well, so even more disturbingly, for the people that are live there in the crowd, you might have to see Ohno twice in one night, which just makes me weep for all of you. Anyways, the main event is interesting. The main event is, you know, Team Undisputed Era versus Team Ricochet, Dunn, War Raiders, etc. They each had to pick one representative to go one-on-one and figure out who has the advantage in the WarGames match, i.e., you know, one guy from each match, one guy from each team starts the match. The third person to come in represents the team that will have the advantage throughout the entire WarGames match. Now, personally, if I was laying out that match, I would have it so they alternated. You know, so Team A has the advantage. Team B meets them so that they're 2-2. Then Team B again gets the advantage. I don't know why you don't graduate it out both sides, but I didn't create the match, so it is what it is. And it's interesting to me that both teams picked a tag team guy to be their singles representative. HANSON from the War Raiders is representing the babyface team, and Kyle O'Reilly is representing the Undisputed Era, whereas Kyle O'Reilly is the one within the group that is the tag team guy. So it's interesting. I don't know why they did that. I mean, when you get to the ending, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I mean, Kyle O'Reilly is a great tactician in the ring, don't get me wrong, but without the rest of his team around him, he does come off a bit bland. And HANSON, by himself, taking on this guy half his size, comes off as a heel, even though I know he's definitely a babyface. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting choices. Now, I know you're not going to have Ricochet versus Adam Cole, or Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne in this match here. Like, you're not going to have the leaders of their respective teams in this match 3 or 4 days before the actual pay-per-view. I get that, but it made for a very weird dynamic, and it's sort of, I'm not going to lie, sort of an anticlimactic last match going into the show. But anyways, HANSON, Kyle O'Reilly. You got a big, huge size discrepancy. So one guy is trying to beat the other one into the ground. The other one is just desperately trying to decimate a leg so that he can have a leg to stand on. That was my lame joke for the night, and there it is. I'm very tired, you guys. This is why you're only getting one review out of me tonight. Kicks by O'Reilly to start, and HANSON just swats him away. Forearm by O'Reilly, and some strikes in the corner. Headlock by O'Reilly. Shoulder tackle and a corner splash by HANSON. Body blows by HANSON. A low drop kick by O'Reilly. More kicks by O'Reilly, and mounted punches. O'Reilly stomps the knee in the ropes. Great spot. Put it up on the bottom rope. Stomp on it. It's all good. Front slam by HANSON. Chop block by O'Reilly. High knees and a dragon screw, working the leg, which is great. Leg grapevine by O'Reilly, working the leg, which is great. And a boot by HANSON, because why would we sell all this lovely work on his leg? Power slam by HANSON, because why sell the leg? High knee by O'Reilly to the face. Suicide dive by HANSON is fucking terrifying. And yes, once again, I'm going to say it. I put it in the same category as Lars Sullivan doing a top rope headbutt. I put it in the same category as Killian Dane being able to do a suicide dive as well. P.S. Nice to see Sanity on SmackDown this week. Where have they been? Just saying. Cole shows up on the ramp to distract HANSON. HANSON misses a moonsault and a high knee by O'Reilly and an ankle lock by O'Reilly. Now, that, with all the work that's been done on his legs so far in this match, should have been the match, but of course it wasn't. The referee gets distracted. Cole gets up on the apron to kick him in the face. Series of strikes by O'Reilly. Rowe comes down to take out Cole on the outside, throws him into the steel steps. Clothesline by HANSON in the ring to O'Reilly. Everybody joins the fight one at a time. You know, the rest of the Undisputed Era come out, and then what the hell's his name? Pete Dunne comes out. It's very late in the day, guys. I'm very sorry. Ricochet comes out, and it's funny, and it's a little bit of overly on the nose symbolism that they each join the brawl one at a time, just like they're gonna do at the WarGames match on Saturday. Anyways, everybody joins the fight. It's a big brawl on the outside. The referee is distracted once again. Belt shot by O'Reilly. O'Reilly obviously wins. The heels obviously have the advantage going in, so that the faces have to fight from underneath. It's going to be a great match. This could have been better. I'm not going to lie. As the go-home show for WarGames, this could have been a lot better. They did build towards the WarGames match, which is the primary function of the WarGames pay-per-view. I get it. But there was no interaction from Gargano, no interaction from Ciampa, Black, Velveteen Dream, Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, all the other external characters that are involved in this. You didn't see Nikki Cross. You didn't see Candice LeRae. They didn't book a fifth match. So, I'm sorry. I know NXT is, you know, the golden god of WWE. the show wasn't that great. Now, granted, the show on Saturday is going to be fantastic. The show on Saturday is going to blow the show on Sunday out of the water, just because the show on Sunday is more of a clusterfuck than Crown Jewel. There, I said it. Like I say, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler, I'm pretty sure it's going to start off the show. Those ladies are going to do a great job. They've already shown they can work well together. Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream, it's appealing in its newness. Like, you've got this circle of Gargano and Ciampa and Aleister Black that have been going around in circles for quite a while now. So Ciampa versus Dream is intriguing because of its newness. It's intriguing because Velveteen Dream is one of those guys that we all know will overperform. On the other side of the coin, you've got Gargano, fresh off his heel turn. A heel turn that actually made sense. SmackDown, I'm looking at you. Commentary's coming. Taking on Aleister Black, who, in addition to being just flat out pissed because he's screwed over, has got to have some disappointment from this guy that he thought was on the right side of things. You know, no one's ever truly good, no one's ever truly evil. They're playing a whole lot with that sort of symbolism, but he's got to feel a little bit of betrayal and a lot of disappointment. You know, when you say when a friend fucks you over and you're not even mad, you're just disappointed? I want to see a little bit of that out of Aleister Black. I really do. Not that I want to see it become a mixed tag match, but I really do want to see some interaction between these two guys, between Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross, because Nikki Cross is being criminally underutilized. Candice LeRae is being criminally underutilized. But yet we have to give Lacey Evans TV time. I'm just saying. And the 4-on-4 match, there's a lot of things I have to say going into this, but everybody in that match deserves to be there, belongs there, etc. The weird thing about it is, and this is another thing that sort of breaks the mold as far as an NXT pay-per-view goes, there is no North American title match. There is no WWE UK title match. There is no tag title match because they're all involved in that 4-on-4 match. Now, to the biases out there, when that was happening on Raw, you thought it was terrible because it's happening on NXT, it's the greatest thing in the world. Now, it is the greatest thing in the world, but you're still fucking hypocrites. I don't know what I'm rambling about anymore. WarGames is going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. Please, 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 somebody find me some drugs to get me through Survivor Series on Sunday. I will talk to you guys later, but for right now, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys. More announcements regarding Fearless, Destiny Wrestling's first ever iPay-per-view on Fight TV, happening November 25th. But before I get to those, I do want to congratulate Destiny Wrestling for their new announced working relationships with both Fight Club Pro and Blackcraft Wrestling. Both of those companies are doing combined shows with Destiny in the near future. I encourage you, especially if you're in the local area, to go check those out. I think the one with Fight Club Pro is happening in New York. The one with Blackcraft is actually happening in my backyard, which is always great. They've added another match to Fearless. It's going to be new Destiny talent Channing Decker taking on Teddy Hart. Now, obviously, that's in addition to the match that we already know about, which is interim Destiny champion Josh Alexander taking on Rey Fenix and Rich Swann. This is building up to be a hell of a card. Destiny's growing. I'm happy for them. You guys should check them out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.